What's going on, gentlemen? Lawrence of Asia coming at you once again here from Seoul, South Korea, and today I am heading to Japan. Oh yeah, it's time for another trip. Had a bit of a stressful situation here in Korea, and you know, sometimes you need to keep your own sanity and peace, and if you have the means to do it, go out and travel. You know, go out and travel. I'm waiting on the 111 bus right now. Should be coming up any minute. And yeah, I'm so excited to get back to Japan. Japan is where I first started my travels in Asia 16 years ago. Because I had traveled quite a lot before I came to Asia. But Japan was the very, very first place that I ever came once I came to Asia. So it's also where I recorded my first CD as well. So I have quite a history with Japan. And it's always exciting to be traveling anywhere, but particularly Japan. It's a bit hard to navigate, to be honest, compared to other places. The proficiency in English is pretty low. But I do speak a fair amount of Japanese as well, which is good, though it is quite rusty since it's been so long since I've actually been in Japan. I do see a bus arriving. That's not my bus. That's all good. Let me just check though. Okay, still not seeing the 111 bus. So I may have an opportunity here to go ahead and make a good video with you guys. Pardon me. Just getting over a bit of a cold here as well. But yeah. It's been a long time since I've actually been in Japan, about a year, which for me is a long time. I like to get to Japan about every year, about once a year. And this time I'm going to Fukuoka, and I've actually never been there before. The weather's a bit warmer than it is here in Korea, so I'm quite excited about that. And also there, you know, there's so many great parks to explore, and I can brush up on my rusty Japanese as well. Gentlemen, get out and travel the world. Live an unconventional life, because that is where the magic is found, in the unexpected. When you let go of all control and surrender to life itself, surrender your spirit, surrender to life itself, that's where you have the potentiality to experience magic, synchronicity, and a whole different dimension and grand experience of happenings that will be quite difficult to experience in an everyday, already constructed life. The 9-to-5 life, I call it. You know, the what can often be mundane can be beautiful as well, but can often become a bit mundane. If you can find a way to break out of the matrix, I highly encourage you doing so. You do not need to have a lot of money to do so. More than anything, you just have to have a sincere resolute decision. You need to be resolute in your decision that you're absolutely going to do this. So when I started traveling, I was hitchhiking. I didn't have the money to travel all the places I did, but I hitchhiked, and I was able to make my money stretch a lot further. Later, I traveled as a musician, and I oftentimes even travel with no money at all, just hitchhiking. And I would have different truckers might buy me lunch and say, "Are you hungry?" I was like, "You know, I am." And I didn't have any money, or I might have $10 in my pocket, and they'd buy a sandwich for me, you know, whatnot. Which I was very, very fortunate to have so many people give something beautiful to me. But I made it my practice just to carry an energy of love, an energy of surrender, and this energy of compassion and love as I move through the planet. And what I needed did tend to find me. What I needed tended to show up. But I have to say, if I was to get into any conversation with any of you, most certainly the conversation would always loop back around to me encouraging you to let go of the material and go out and travel the world. These days, I've got 3 children, and it's a bit different. I've got businesses with money coming in and so forth, but the beginning of my travels were nothing of the such, and they were really the most beautiful and magical. I would give up anything to get back to that place where just let go of everything, and the magic, the synchronicity was so common. Didn't really happen for me until I actually started traveling around the age of 23. Let go of a beautiful Colombian girl that I was married with and let that relationship go, let go of the job I had in the Ritz-Carlton, and I walked out of the apartment, had sold my motorcycle helmets, suits, briefcases, ties, shirts, everything, just giving everything away, and I began hitchhiking from San Francisco and later all the way through Mexico into Guatemala, etc., etc. Came back to the States at some point and then took out a credit card and moved to Japan 15, 16 years ago now. It's been about 16 years. I was 23 when I landed in Japan, and I had decided I was going to start a speed dating company in Japan. After arriving, I said, you know what, not a speed dating company. I'll do parties in the park, and I'll include everything in the party fee. It'll be all the food, drinks, and badminton, whatever, and music. People can come have a party in the park. They can pay $25, $35, and people can enjoy themselves. I'll make it all happen, right? Bring people together. I decided against that, and I began instead, I decided I wanted to continue traveling and get out of Japan. I decided instead to record my first CD the day after I made that resolute decision to do so. The day after I met a friend of mine, John, who was a sound engineer, and I told him what I wanted to do, and he said, I'm going to record my first CD, and he said, that's amazing, man. I'm a sound engineer, and I'd love to help you. So, he helped me free of charge. I got my first CD recorded. It was quite a lot to edit. I ended up editing the whole thing by myself. He helped me get it recorded. And I gave him my favorite leather jacket for helping me record in the recording studio. Yeah, I didn't have any money to pay him, He was indifferent about it, but I wanted to give him something, right? So I traveled as a musician, lived in Bali, and just hustled my CD on the beach. I was enemy number 1 in Kuta Beach. Everyone hated me. All the local vendors hated me because how dare I make money on the beach? But I was penniless myself. I had given up my passport to a hotel as ransom, collateral, in order to basically have a deposit, some security for them, such that to ensure that I would be paying back the money that I owed them. I negotiated a pretty solid rate, $150 for the month. They wanted about $20 a day. I said, what's your best rate if I stay for a long time? They said $10. I said, if I stay for an entire month, can you guys do $5? I'm a musician, I have no money, da-da-da-da. The owners came, they heard me perform, and they said, you know what? Cool, it's cool. I said, here's my passport. And I paid them back the $150 over the course of the next 4 weeks, etc., etc. Traveled as a musician for a long time, and it was beautiful. And then, these days, I've got about 20 Airbnbs, just shy of 20 Airbnbs currently. Got them here in this old country that I'm in, as well as in Bali, Indonesia, where the majority of them are. And now soon to be moving the family. In about 2 weeks, we're going to be moving back to the States. Tickets are booked. We'll be in Austin, Texas. If you're in Austin, you want to say what's up, send me a message. I'll be there. So I'll be there on the 14th, and should be free by, maybe 18th or so. Just want to get the family settled, jet lag, all that stuff. So yeah, it's been a beautiful life, gentlemen. I wish the same for everyone. I found so much peace in the East, not to be cliche, but I genuinely did. And I do have some hesitancy about going back and actually living long-term in the States with my family, but I do believe it's best. I think there's so much beauty there. There's so many beautiful people there, so many warm-hearted people. And it's interesting how I never thought that I would truly miss it, but I miss it in a way in which I miss it for my children. I want them to grow up with some of the values that I grew up with, some of the warm-heartedness, some of the openness to strangers in particular. I want them to have that as well, you know, not just their Korean essence, which I want them to also have and speak Korean, but I want them to have all the good aspects that America has to offer as well. So, I mean, adventure is amazing, guys. You know, so when it comes to Asia, right, you've got East Asia, which I consider China, Korea, Japan, and Taiwan. You could include Singapore and Hong Kong in that if you want. And then you've got Southeast Asia, which is Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Philippines. Philippines, in my opinion, is kind of in a league of its own. It's not as safe as the other countries, and though you can have a really, really amazing life there, and a lot of people do, a lot of people love it and swear by it. For me, it was probably my least favorite in all of Asia, and I love the Filipino people so much. In some ways, they may be better than almost anyone in Asia. I mean, they do speak great English, but they're also just so warm-hearted. But overall, I didn't appreciate like the food as much. I even got food poisoning, which basically never happens unless I'm in India, here in Asia. But it did happen in the Philippines, and it's a beautiful place, don't get me wrong, but it's probably one of my least favorites. I really do love Thailand, but the Thais have become a bit jaded these days just because they've had too much tourism. So wherever you do go, this will be the first tenet of my new book that's coming out soon, which is The Art of Freedom. If you do find yourself traveling, gentlemen, it's just, you know, number one tenet, travel in the mode of love and compassion. Be a beacon of light and positivity wherever you do travel, so that you're not only a taker wherever you go. Be a beacon of love, light, and joy, compassion, so that any place you go, you're making it better. You're not just there to be a taker, right? So, I mean, it's okay to give and take. It's okay to, you know, meet some beautiful girls, but, you know, don't make it just about that. You know, be a beacon of light when you move throughout the earth and make everywhere you go a better place. You know, by, you know, quite naturally, just by your presence. Yeah, travel with humility is what I'm trying to say. Travel with a heart of humility, not that you're better than anyone. You can walk around proud, you know, but when you make eye contact with people, be humble, be gracious. And here in Asia, one way that people show respect and graciousness towards each other is just a small bow. You know, a small bow, you can show respect in that way, and that means a lot. That does mean you're in fact showing respect, and that is respectful. When you mean to be respectful, you are. So still waiting on the bus, and I'm quite happy with that, because somehow we've managed to get a whole YouTube video in here, and I'm quite stoked, as you can probably see, enjoying the bit of shade, back to the sunshine. You can probably see though, I'm quite stoked. I'm excited to be moving and traveling. I'm in my element when I'm moving, traveling, and of course heading to Japan. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. Fukuoka is a bit warmer than where I'm going. It's also gonna be nice to be in a warmer environment. And you know, to be my last trip, last time on my own prior to actually heading to back to America. And this is, you know, where I started off. Asia was Japan, and this will be where I leave it off for this chapter of my life, because I do intend on having the family in America probably for a good year plus before we really travel this time. We'll just be traveling within the States, as the States is pretty big as it is. Also, probably be hitting up tons of national parks as well. Super stoked to be camping and traveling and hitting up all the lovely parks in the States. And I know that America has become torn, and I do believe that the powers that be, the media and so forth, are really trying to push that divide and conquer element. But gentlemen, whether you're white, black, Asian, Hispanic, whatever race, gentlemen, and ladies as well, let's all come together. Let's remember our commonality, and let's not be torn apart, because we're all human at the end of the day. Keep love and compassion first, and we don't have to come to hard-nosed decision in our minds about people. Just keep a heart of love and compassion for your fellow humans, gentlemen. Ladies, that's my advice. I love you all. I'm going to cut this one now. I'm going to catch the bus, heading over to Fukuoka. I'll do another video, perhaps in the airport. Catching the next one. Lawrence of Asia. Like, comment, and subscribe, please. Trying to grow the channel to get to 500 subscribers ASAP. Let's do it on this video. I'm sure we can. If everybody, subscribes, we're already there. Also, new books coming out soon. I already said it. But anyway, God bless. Love you all. Catch you in the next one. Peace.